starting off foam rolling. So you're gonna hit a couple key areas that are gonna help you with low back tightness. I'm not sure if that's something you wake up in the morning with, or it's just something that accumulates throughout the day. But we're gonna start off with the rolling. So hitting both quads, 30 seconds each side. So have one leg hanging off the one side of it. And just going nice and slow here. So you're doing about 30 seconds on each quad. So on this you can also like rotate your hip one way, rotate the other. You got some big quads, so it just takes a little bit more of a little rotation to find some new spots. So give about 30 seconds on each side. It's the first time I foam roll today, so it feels super rad. And then you're gonna go into hitting your adductors, so inner thigh muscles. I'm gonna do this one a little different angle. So you wanna have that leg bent about 90 degrees here, back leg is straight, and then slowly rolling inner thigh towards the knee. Same thing, just nice and slow and steady. You wanna make sure it's at a point where you can still breathe or talk. So you get to a spot that's like, oh, and you can't like breathe and you're just making weird noises, back off it a little bit. But if you need a little more, you can come down, put a little more pressure into it. So then after 30 seconds there, we're gonna hit the TFL IT band. And this is gonna be from both sides. So I'm just demoing one way through, but make sure you hit both sides, 30 seconds each. IT band, it's similar to the quad. On the rolling, except I just want you to rotate your chest open just a little bit more. You might see some people rolling their IT band like straight smashing on it. I'd rather you be more quad. So don't completely rotate open, turn the chest down just a little bit. You get some quad there instead. So lateral quad, don't think about the IT actual band, get lateral quad. And then go all the way up into the hip, that little hip crease pocket or your TFL. And then just a little quick massage on your TFL. And then you're gonna rotate around and go into a figure four position. We're trying to hit the piriformis, just roll out some butt stuff. So from here, we're gonna step one ankle over the knee, then you rotate your chest towards that side. And you wanna put the weight into the hip that is with a bent knee. So bent knee side is where you're gonna be focusing on. Again here, kind of move around a little bit, explore, and then spend about 30 seconds on each cheek. All right, from there, I want you to go and get on the rower and hit 500 meters on the rower, just a casual pace. Just to give you like a reference, you're looking anywhere finishing in around like 2 to 2.5 minutes is the as the pace you want to be sitting on for this. Something to get your heart rate up, maybe even break a sweat on it, but not trying to like break it down before we even start. So 500 meters on the rower, and then we'll come over and hit the rest of the corrective exercise. So first thing on the corrective exercise is just getting some mobility going. So we're hitting some more stretching. So starting off, really focusing on getting the hips, hammies, all those things warmed up, and some upper body stuff. So what I want you to do is start nice upright position, nice and tall. From here, bending the knees, hinging forward, and then walking your hands all the way out to a plank position. I want you to pause in this plank for about 3 seconds. So pressing up through the shoulders, keep your core engaged, find your breath here, and then press back into some form of down dog. So this might mean your knees are bent. It might mean you're a little bit more forward than me. We want to find a position where you're getting a nice stretch in your hamstrings. You get a little stretch in the lats and shoulders also. And I want you to hold this for about 30 seconds, which might feel like a while. So from here, if you can, maybe pedal a little bit. Alternate getting a little stretch in the back of the hamstring. If you feel a little cold still, be gentle on how hard you're stretching. And once you finish your 30 seconds, we're gonna come up forward into a kneeling lunge position. So from here, stepping 1 foot forward, gonna have the hips in a straight line here. Pushing your hips forward, and then taking both arms up overhead. What I'm looking for here is trying to get a nice big stretch in the front of your hip. You might feel it all the way down and through your quad. The main thing is trying to focus on pushing the hips forward. And if you can, you can activate your glute on that side. and that'll help you open up and release the front of your hip. So hold this for about 30 seconds. Some of this stuff I really want to sit here and hold it the whole time with you, just because it's a nice stretch. And then we're going to come into legs wide, getting adductors. Guys, we rolled out earlier, going wide, eye contact. Hey Michael, you're pretty. All right, bro, get weird with it. So if you might not be this wide, you might be here. Our range of motions are going to be a little bit different, but you basically want to get a position where you start to get a stretch, maybe hinge forward a little bit. If you want to stretch on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like, holy fuck, this is some spicy stuff and ripping me apart, you want it to be like a 6, where it's like, okay, that feels pretty good, but I can still feel a good stretch going on there. And then from here, we're going to go into a supine hamstring stretch. So for this, have a stretch band, belt, some kind of rope, whatever. And we're going to go onto the back. And I just want you to find a nice relaxed position where you can get a hamstring stretch. Still, I'm not going to go like super intense with this. You know, your range of motion might start here, it might start here. Wherever you get with this, you just want a nice stretch in the hamstring, but again, you want it like at level 6. You're not trying to we're not trying to over crank it and stretch it. We're not trying to make any big leaps and bounds on your range of motion. Just want to warm it up, get a nice stretch. Hold each for 30 seconds. And the last one we're going to throw in is a figure 4 stretch. So similar to what we were doing when we were on the roller. Just crossing one leg over, breathe the knee into your chest, and then hang here for 30 seconds on each side. For this one, you want to try to make sure your head's relaxed. The tendency here is people want to be hunched up here. I want you to relax, be able to breathe, relax your shoulders down, relax your head out. And then also make sure you're not yanking so hard your hips are off the ground. So make sure your low back is able to sit down, your head's like nice and relaxed, shoulders are down. Hold that for 30 seconds each side. That's the stretching part of the warm up. So next we're going to go into some activation stuff. So this is similar to like a ramp protocol warm up you might have seen before. So starting off with some butt stuff. So this will help you activate glute medius. So what I was watching on your assessment yesterday, when you're doing those single leg squats, you know, have that pronation down at the foot. One of the reasons why is going to be weak glute medius. So we're about to address that. So when the leg caves in, a lot of times it's because the hip doesn't have the stability. So the hip drops the knee drops everything else in, with this snake of the leg. So I want you to start with the feet just a little bit wider than hip distance apart, the band above your knee. So you want to have a decent bit of tension on here. So you might need your harder band, but we'll see. From here, you want to take a nice athletic position, squat it down. You're going to hold the squat this entire time, and then you're just going to take a step out. And you're going to make sure your feet aren't turning in any different directions. And control it as you step back in, staying nice and squatted here. And I want you to give me 12 each direction, or depending on how much space you have, it might be 6, two sets of 6, depending on the amount of space you have. So big step. Try to make sure the knees aren't collapsing in on those steps. Then we're going to come back down to the mat. You got 20 alternating bird dogs. So here, just again working on activating some things and working on the range of motion. So from here, take a nice tabletop position, and you're going to extend the opposite arm and leg at the same time. Give it about a 2-second pause on the extension, and then return back to the starting position. And then you just go switch back and forth for 20 reps. So it should look similar to this. Extending out, keep your core tight, pause, 1, 2, nice controlled back down. Switch to the other side, extend out, pause, 1, 2, nice and controlled back down. You're gonna alternate those for 20 total. Then we're gonna come into TRX W's. So these will be helping to activate the muscles between your shoulders and also helping out with warming up the rotator cuff. So you want your TRX about mid-length position. So not pulled all the way down to the floor. So you want your TRX to be about halfway down from its tallest position. From here, as you come in with the elbows and row it back, you're going to rotate the forearms back. Try and get your fist by your shoulders. Coming back forward, nice and controlled. Big squeeze, 1, 2 at the top. control it back. 1, 2, control it back. Good. All right. So from there, we're gonna have some bridges. Again, just trying to wake up and activate some areas before we get into it. With 10 bridges, you want your feet hip distance apart. You want you to keep your knees hip distance apart. From here, just pressing up, pause, 1, 2, really squeezing, activating. Nice control back down. Press it up, 1, 2, nice control back down. So you hit 10 of those. And then last exercise in the warm-up, and then it's into the actual workout, is going to be 10 thrusters. So, you know, these guys squatting all the way down, pressing it overhead, making sure head comes to the window. When you